So we need to sort of talk together.
No, and I think we had a pre-meeting with Kat, which was really well prepared by her, I think. So, and there was a couple of points which have come up in both of our things, but maybe to go back to the whole thing as the creator as editor, and that was something we bounded around a bit. And you described really, I think I absolutely know the type of processes that you're describing. We've ended up often with those. I think we tend to look at a gradient from total improvisation, which we actually quite often do because we're in environments where, particularly public participation, you might be actually setting one or two very simple rules, but actually the basis, 80%, if not more, of the material is completely coming from an improvised immediacy from the body, and equally, from the real-time reaction of the technologies, right through to the other end being a completely structured choreographic piece, where every single move relates directly to something that's happening with the digitalization in a complete, pure way. And actually, most often we end up working in about the middle of that gradient, where it's a structured choreographic situation or a structured improvisation, structured improvisational situation. That's what I mean. So I would see that as kind of about the middle of this gradient in terms of how we work. And that actually does allow exactly what you're saying, where you've got, these setups with all of the technical gear, like you said, the digital studio comes into the dance studio, and they are two very, very different things. And the first time I did that was probably about '92, and that's when we started to realise we needed to have some of these working. After that first big group project, which was called part of Butterfly Effect Network, and at Dartington College, the following summer, by then we realised we needed some metaphors to work with to actually enable these processes, which go at very different speeds, have got very different needs, exactly like you said, the dancers can do it like that, and then the technical crew, actually we're going to have to close down, or sorry, you're going to have to unplug that, or we're going to have to re-plug for this, or can everybody wait 5 minutes, and then dancers are getting cold, you've got to keep them warmed up, you've got, this whole thing running alongside. But that's where, equally to the problems, you're right, the playfulness can come in, and the serendipity can come in, and things just start to spark off each other. Yeah, and I think that is a really perfect description of what you did on that side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know how everyone else was, but for me the biggest challenge really of making anything in the digital age is this thing of editing. It's spotting, finding ways of generating ideas, but then spotting the good ones and committing to them.
Yes.
Is a real skill, which I found. That actually, I found the collaborative environment a really nice place to do that, because I think partly because there's a shared constraint in terms of time. When you're on your own, trying to sort of choose things, you can go on endlessly. And when you're sitting in a room and ideas are happening in front of you, I think two things, I suppose. One is that you are all sharing the space and the time, and it's moving at the same speed for everybody. And secondly, there is that element of performance that everybody suddenly goes, and you feel the mood lift. It's like, that's gosh, that's good.
And then that bit's going to stay in a
absolutely,
sense, or go further.
Absolutely,
So it's a group editing process.
And we worked with another choreographer. A chap called Robert Cohen, who's an octogenarian American who set up London Contemporary Dance, and he's largely responsible for bringing contemporary dance to the UK. I think he used to dance with Martha Graham, and he just said that as far as he was concerned, all choreography is editing. It is all about just watching movement and then kind of going, that bit. And increasingly, I think if you make but if you make I'm no film editor, but we've made a film of Flot, which is a kind of funny way around of doing it, because it's an interactive piece that is playful and does its own thing. But then we filmed it for a few hours, and then I had to make a sort of 3-minute video of it. And I just always find with things like that, I'm just overwhelmed by choice. There's that kind of, it's just so much of it. It's like, well, that bit's nice, that bit's nice, that bit's nice. And at some point, you've just got to go, right, that bit's in. And if that bit's in, then that bit's nice, because they have a relationship, whereas that bit doesn't work with that bit. And I find, you know, that working in a collaborative environment helps that process of going, right, that bit's in, you know. And then, certainly personally, I find it then very much easier to kind of go, well, okay, I know this works. I know why.
You know why.
Yeah.